The sky was blue with streaks of orange, birds chirping lazily across the trees, as the car pulled up to a narrow village road surrounded by thick bush and the familiar sound of goats in the distance. Zara Chukwueke stepped out of the car, sunglasses perched on her forehead, suitcase rolling behind her, and a soft sigh escaping her lips. "See you in 2 weeks," her mother said from the window. Zara leaned in and smiled. "Don't forget to send me photos from Dubai, Mommy." Her mom chuckled. "Try not to complain about the Wi-Fi, okay?" "I'll try," Zara said with a playful roll of her eyes. "But no promises." The car pulled away slowly, and, as the dust rose behind it, Grandma Ngozi appeared at the entrance of her compound, vibrant, strong, and glowing in a rich wine-colored wrapper with tiny beads around her wrist. Her eyes lit up. "Ah, my joy!" she called out, stretching her arms. Zara ran into them like a child who hadn't visited in years, even though she was here just last Easter. "Grandma," she breathed in the scent of shea butter and wood smoke, "I've missed you." The woman held her face. "Come and grow fat this holiday, my daughter. You are too slim for a city girl." They both laughed. Zara quickly settled into village life. She loved the cool mornings at the stream, going barefoot with other girls carrying buckets, more for fun than necessity. They sat on big stones, dipping their feet and laughing over silly gossip. One of them, Ifeoma, became her closest friend in the village. "Your skin is soft like city people," Ifeoma teased one morning, "but you're not proud. I like you." "I like you too," Zara replied with a grin. Nights were magical. Children gathered in the compound. Adults sat roasting ground nuts or peeling oranges. Grandma would bring out her drum and tell folk tales that made the little ones shriek in mock fear. Zara always sat close, head resting on Grandma's lap. "Grandma?" she asked one night. "Were you ever scared as a child?" "Of course," the old woman replied. "We feared snakes, spirits, and most of all breaking the rules." "What kind of rules?" "One day I'll tell you," Grandma said, eyes twinkling. The day before she was to return to the city, she stepped out around midnight to fetch water from the clay pot outside. The air was unusually cold. She had just reached for the lid when she heard, "Zara Chukwueke." It was her grandmother's voice. "Yes, Grandma?" she answered instantly, turning to go back inside. She stepped into the bedroom and froze. Grandma was lying there asleep. "Grandma?" The old woman stirred, opening her eyes. "Hmm? Why are you looking at me like that?" "You just called me," Zara said, her voice unsteady. Grandma sat up slowly. "I didn't call you, Zara." Zara's skin prickled. "No, it was you. I heard you." The woman's eyes hardened. "Sit down." When Zara obeyed, Grandma spoke in a low, urgent voice. "Listen well. If you ever hear your name called at night, especially at midnight, do not answer. Not even if it sounds like me. Even if it's you? Yes. What if it's Mommy? Still no." Zara gave a short laugh. "Grandma, that's impossible." "This is not a joke," the old woman said sharply. "Some voices are not human. Spirits steal voices to trick you. If you answer, they can take something from you, something you can't get back." Zara shivered but nodded. She returned to the city the next day, but the warning sat in her mind like an odd superstition. Months later, she joined a boarding school. It was a different world. Cold showers, strict lights-out rules, and whispering roommates. One night, deep in the term, she was half asleep when she heard, "Zara Chukwueke." Her eyes snapped open. The voice had come from the dark hallway. It was her mother's voice. She sat up, heart pounding. "Remember what Grandma said." "Zara!" The voice called again, gentle but urgent. Her lips parted to answer, but she bit them shut, trembling under her blanket. A moment later, her roommate Adaora stirred. "Did you hear that?" Zara's voice was a whisper. "You heard it too?" "Yes, someone calling your name." Adaora sat up, rubbing her eyes. "It sounded like your mom." They both sat in the moonlit silence, staring toward the open dorm door. Eventually, the voice stopped. Zara barely slept. The next morning, she called Grandma from the school's public phone. "It has started," Grandma said gravely. "From now on, keep to the rule. Never answer." 2 weeks later, it happened again. Only this time, the voice was exactly her grandmother's. Zara Chukwueke. It came from just outside the dormitory window. Zara's throat tightened. She stayed completely still. Then the voice grew harsher. "Zara! I said come here!" Her heart was hammering so hard she thought it would burst. Adaora woke again and whispered, "Why is your grandma here at night?" Zara shook her head violently. "That's not her." After that, the voice began to call more often, sometimes 3 times in a week. Zara grew pale and jumpy. One evening, she came home for midterm break, and Grandma took her into the inner hut. "They are getting bold," Grandma said. "I think they want you." "Who are they?" "Spirits that hunt at midnight. They steal voices to lure the living out. Once you step into their reach, you will never return the same." "But why me?" "Maybe because you answered once, that first night here in the village." Zara felt ice creep down her spine. That night, the voice came again. This time, Grandma heard it too. They sat in the dark hut together, listening to the perfect imitation of her mother's voice calling from outside. Grandma closed her eyes and began to chant softly, old words Zara didn't understand. The air felt thick. The voice outside grew angrier, calling louder, until it was a roar. Then silence. Grandma opened her eyes, sweat on her brow. "I have held them back for now, but they will come again. One day I might not be here to stop them." And indeed, months later, that day came. Zara was back in boarding school when the voice called again. This time so sweet, so loving, it brought tears to her eyes. "Zara, my child, come." She pressed her hands over her ears, but something inside her longed to respond. She was halfway to whispering yes, when another sound cut through Grandma's voice in her mind. "Do not answer." She stayed silent, tears streaming down her cheeks. The voice faded. When she went home for the holiday, she learned Grandma had died that very night. From then on, Zara followed the rule without fail. She still hears her name at midnight, once in a while, sometimes in her mother's voice, sometimes in Grandma's, but she never answers, and she never will.